Hello, I'm Uta Mueller, Ocean of Minds Media House, sitting here in Chéticamp, Cape Breton Island, Nova Scotia in Canada. And in front of me is Julie Larade. She is born here. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Julie Larade. I live in a small coastal Acadian village of St-Joseph-Du-Moine, which is just 10 miles south of Chéticamp, on this beautiful Cape Breton Island in Nova Scotia.
Tell me something about the Acadians.
Well, my parents were both Acadians, descendants of the deportation in 1755, and I grew up in a family often filled with music, laughter, and storytelling.
And as a child, you began to write.
That's right. I think my parents influenced me greatly in becoming a writer.
When did you write your first poem or your first story?
I wrote now and then along the years, but I first began my first novel, my first book in 2007.
2007. Please show me your first novel. Laura's story. It's a historical story.
Yes.
What's the topic?
It's a life story of a woman named Laura, and she faces many challenges along the way. She's widowed at a young age with 3 young boys, not very well equipped to face the challenges. But we see perseverance, courage, and love lead the way.
And you sat on the table every morning to write this book, or how did you do it? Do you go to the shore?
No, I don't sit every morning, although my editor, that's her advice, to write every day. And I try, but I write whenever I feel like it, whether it be on the shore, on the beach, or in my living room, sometimes at church, in restaurants. If an idea comes up, I always have my pen and paper close by.
And then you have finished it and went to a publishing house, or what did you do?
I self-published in 2014, in November 2014, and my editor, Jenna Kalinski, she hails from Toronto, Ontario. That's where she lives. She's just a superb at her work, and I feel very fortunate to be able to work with her.
And then you became was very experienced and would like to write a children's story or a children's book.
Yes.
And this book is in French. Why?
Yes, well, because of my French background, of course. My maternal tongue is French, so it's called Lazarus the Detective, a cadeau, and I also wrote it in English as well.
And what's the story?
It's the story about a little boy who visits his grandparents in Chéticamp, Cape Breton Island. And once he arrives there, his grandma gives him a gift, and it's a detective set. And soon after, he faces his first mystery.
And then he tried to solve it.
That's right, yes.
And what do you do to make this book known in the area or in Nova Scotia?
Well, interviews such as this one, newspaper articles. I have the books in shops and boutiques around the area. They carry my books for sale. I also have a Facebook author page, Julie Larade Author. I also have a website, my own website. And on this website, we have a series of activities to go along with Laura's story. And also activities are coming up for the children's book. My friend, Barbara Leblanc, she's a former professor at the University Saint-Anne, and we prepared 6 booklets for various ages to go with Laura So, and on this website, I also have the information about my illustrator, Chantal Morin. She hails from Sudbury, Ontario, and her images are very superb. I really like them. And she also worked on the website this winter to make it what it is now.
And what's the title? What's the title? Your own idea, or who chose the title? The title?
Oh, the title, yes, Lazarus. Well, it's similar in both languages, Lazarus in French and English. But there's also, when I was growing up with Mom and Dad, if we'd lose something or there was some kind of mystery, we would always say, oh, it's a case for Lazare. And why we chose Lazare was that there was this elderly gentleman in Chéticamp, and he was the justice of the peace or lawyer. I'm not sure because I was so young, but his name was Lazare, and that's the saying. That's how it went. Lazare, a case for Lazare. So my little boy is a detective, so it seemed to fit just perfectly.
And what will be the next case of Lazare?
Yeah, well, I'm working on that one. We'll see. Yeah.
You're working on that one?
Yes. Yeah.
You don't work on the next novel?
Yes, I have. I'm working on the third draft of my next novel. It's a spin-off from Laura's story.
You work on both books?
Yes.
And do you write also biographies or books about the area here, or only fiction?
Only fiction so far, yes.
Why fiction?
Oh, I just love a nice story. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about its creativity and its fantasy. Mm-hmm. And are you inspired by the wonderful area here, by the sea and the sun and the wind and the storm?
Absolutely, yes, yeah.
Do you write more in the winter time or in summer?
No, it doesn't matter, no. I write whenever I want to. And even when the children come home in the summertime, it's very busy. And but I still get some ideas, so I write them down and, keep them for my next, when it's quiet.
Okay. I look forward to your next books and to the next case of Lazare. It was wonderful to meet you here in Chéticamp. Thanks a lot, Julie.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Bye. Ocean of Minds Media House.